Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Tyreek. Today I'm going to discuss to y'all my very first time and why everybody needs to make sure that if you have never done anything sexually before, you need to make sure that your first time goes smoothly and why it's very important to make sure you choose the right person for your first time. So I'm going to tell y'all my story and I hope y'all enjoy. See y'all soon. Now, y'all, over the years, I've talked to a lot of men, I've talked to some women, and a lot of times I hear that a lot of people, they don't have the greatest time losing their virginity, or they regret who they lost their virginity to. So it's very unfortunate. But if you are someone who's never had sex and is a virgin, I'm going to tell you guys my story and why I'm very appreciative of the person that I lost it to and why you should make it, be cautious and make sure if you're going to do something like that, make sure the person is someone that you generally think is the right person for you for your first time. So without further ado, let's get into the story. So believe it or not, y'all, the girl that I lost my virginity to, she actually knew me in high school. I had never seen her before, y'all. I had never seen her all 4 years. We were the same age. We went to high school 4 years, all 4 years, and she always knew who I was. I had never ever seen her before, like not a day in my life. It wasn't until after high school. I was still using MySpace. I'm a little old, y'all. And I got a message on MySpace from her saying, hey, like, I used to think you were super cute in high school. Like, let's get to know each other. And I was like, who are you? She was like, we went to high school together. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, we went to high school all 4 years. And I was like, no way. And I'm gonna be honest, like, that was like the first time a woman has ever reached out to me. So I was actually very flattered. I was like, wow, like a woman's reaching out to me, like putting in effort, just taking the initiative. I was shocked because I didn't get any woman's attention in high school. So it was very nice. So we get to talking on MySpace, and I was like, okay, like let's go and meet up. And yeah, we met up, and we went on a few, I guess, dates, if you want to call it that. We were just hanging out, we were vibing, and she was an amazing woman, like super great personality, super sweet, super nice, super funny. She's everything that I think most people want in a woman, most men, just very down to earth, chill. Like I thought she was a great person. And so we were hanging out for a couple times, and yeah, the vibes was great. I wasn't even thinking about nothing like that. You know what I mean? That was never something that was even on my mind with her because, like I said, I had never done anything before. And so we hang out maybe 4 or 5 times. The vibes are cool. We're not necessarily official, but we're kind of like, seeing where it goes. And I remember one day I was going to work and I wanted to see her, so I actually worked at a Burger King at the time, and I was the manager, so I had a dress, like kind of like, like a little tie and like a nice dress shirt and some slacks and, some dress shoes, because that was the requirement for me, right? So I wanted to see her before I started work, so my job is actually right across the street from the mall, so I was like, hey, like, you want to meet up at the mall before I start working? You want to spend some time together? And she was like, cool, sure. So this was the first time she ever seen me in that type of attire, and I remember like we were just walking around the mall, just chilling, having a good time, but she kept on looking at me, and I was like, she's looking at me even differently than normal, and I was like, what the heck, why is she looking at me like this, y'all? Anyway, so we're vibing and everything is cool, we're enjoying our time at the mall, and she was like, you just want to get out of here? And I was like, okay, all right, whatever, like what do you have in mind? She's like, oh, I don't want to say anything yet. But she's looking at me, and I'm like, and I'm so naive, I have no idea what's going on, y'all. So anyways, we get out of the mall, and I have to start working like 2.5 hours, right? But she doesn't live super far away from the mall. So I remember we ended up catching the bus, and then her house was like 10-15 minutes away. So she's like, hey, do you want to come to my house for like an hour and then we can just come right back? And I was like, yeah, okay. Because I really was into this girl. This was the first time that a woman was ever really like, I was really like dating someone and really like, spending time with someone. So I was like, man, like I love this feeling. That's nice. And so we go back and we're chilling at her house. And, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all, like, we were just chilling. We were playing some video games. And then she just kind of put the moves on me. And then it kind of happened, right? And I thought, I don't know how most people feel about your first time, but I thought it was a great experience. Not just because it was my first time, but I liked who she was as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that she was a really cool person. And after that, you know, I ended up leaving, going to work, working, and I remember being all excited, like, and even my coworkers knew, like, they were like, Ty, why are you in such a great mood? You're in a better mood than normal. And I was like laughing, and they were like, what's wrong with this guy? And I never told them, but it was like my first time, so it was like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? It was, you know, for everybody's first time, you know, usually if it's great, like a good time, you know, you have a lot of excitement, you know what I mean? It's like something new to you. So I remember it being a really great experience. And why I don't regret it, because we actually stopped talking maybe about a month after that. It wasn't that long. It was like we talked for like maybe 2-3 months, and we stopped talking. And it wasn't because like we didn't have a great connection or anything like that. She just wanted to move out of state because she wanted to go to college, and she had aspirations in a career, and where she wanted to go wasn't, she didn't want to stay here anymore, so she wanted to move away. And I was like, yeah, you should do that. You should do whatever, you know, makes you happy. But she was amazing. Like, we never had issues. We never had any type of animosity. And the biggest thing is like when I think of this person, like, she's the type of person where, like, if I saw her today, I would give her a hug and just ask her how she is, you know what I mean? And there's no animosity, no bad blood, no nothing. So my whole point is, I think at the end of the day, when you are trying to find the person for the first time, make sure it's with someone that you respect, you really care about, and you guys have good energy, because at the end of the day, you can only get one first time for anything. And if you do it with the wrong person, it's going to always be a memory in your brain and that you can never really get away from. And I hate hearing a lot of people say that they didn't enjoy their first time or it was a bad first time. So my biggest message to y'all is just make sure you find someone that you really feel like it's worth it with and it's really special. You know what I mean? Because like I said, at the end of the day, you only get one time to do it, and when you do it, you can never get that second opportunity to do it for a first time again. So anyways, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. I hope you guys learned something from this. And if you guys could please like, hit that subscribe button, comment, turn on those notifications, do all that great stuff. And this has been your boy Tyreek, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.